Ladies and gentlemen, let's be real. If you woke up this morning hoping the world would finally give you a break, stop, because no one is coming to save you, and that's not bad news. That's the most empowering truth you'll ever hear. No mentor, no parent, no spouse, no miracle moment is going to swoop in and change your life for you. That might sting. But it's the wake-up call that transforms people from spectators into doers. You're not stuck because you're unlucky, you're stuck because you're waiting. Radical responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything that's gone wrong in your life. It's about taking control of what happens next. It's a powerful mindset shift that separates people who wait from people who win. The moment you decide to stop pointing fingers, stop waiting for someone to come rescue you, and start owning every part of your life, that's the moment you reclaim your power. We're conditioned to wait. We wait for the right timing. We wait for someone to believe in us. We wait for the fear to go away. We wait for someone to give us permission. But the truth is, waiting is a trap. The longer you wait, the heavier your dreams become. Procrastination isn't just a time issue, it's a responsibility issue. And when you start taking radical responsibility, everything changes. You stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and you start saying, "What can I do about it?" Most people live in reaction mode. Something happens and they react. They don't plan, they don't anticipate, they don't lead, they just react. But when you take responsibility, you switch from reacting to responding. You don't wait for the environment to tell you what's possible. You start building your own. You begin acting like a leader of your own life, and that shifts the whole trajectory. You were not meant to live a life on autopilot. But if you don't take the wheel, life will keep driving you to places you never wanted to go. Radical responsibility means no more excuses, no more waiting for your parents to change, your boss to notice, the economy to improve, or your partner to finally understand you. It means choosing your mindset, your reactions, your work ethic regardless of circumstances. This isn't about shame or guilt. It's about freedom. Because when you realize you are the problem and also the solution, that's when you get access to your potential. That's when you stop outsourcing your power to people who never earned it, and you bring it back home where it belongs to you. Think of it like this. Your life is a business, and you are the CEO. If something's not working, it's on you to fix it. If something is unclear, it's on you to ask questions. If you're behind, it's on you to get back on track. Radical responsibility isn't glamorous, it's gritty. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep. It's putting your phone down when your mind is screaming for distraction. It's making the hard choices when nobody's watching and nobody's applauding. And this is where most people tap out. Because radical responsibility requires radical honesty. You've got to look in the mirror and say, "I'm the one holding myself back." That's not easy, but that's how you grow. That's how you step into your next level, not by waiting for someone to pull you out, but by climbing your way up, inch by inch, day by day. Responsibility builds resilience. When you own your life, setbacks don't destroy you, they develop you. You start seeing challenges as training, not punishment. You stop taking everything personally and start taking everything purposefully. You build systems instead of waiting for signs. You build discipline instead of hoping for motivation. And over time, you become unshakable. Here's the reality. Nobody cares more about your life than you do. And that's exactly how it should be. Because when you stop expecting someone to save you, you finally start showing up for yourself. You learn to coach yourself, to push yourself, to lead yourself. And that's when the transformation begins. That's when you start to move differently with purpose, with clarity, with courage. You can't outsource your fitness. You can't delegate your mindset. You can't contract out your character. These things are built internally by choosing over and over again to take ownership of every decision, every response, every moment. You stop saying, "I'll try," and you start saying, "I'll do." You stop saying "someday," and you start saying "now." Radical responsibility doesn't guarantee easy, but it guarantees progress. It guarantees growth, and it guarantees that no matter what life throws your way, you'll know exactly what to do, own it, face it, and rise. No one is coming to save you, and once you fully accept that, you stop waiting for change, you become the change. That's not a burden, that's your power, use it. We've been sold a myth that feelings are the gateway to success. That one day we'll wake up feeling ready, that motivation will magically arrive and everything will click. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Your feelings aren't the boss of you, your actions are. Waiting until you feel motivated is the fastest way to stay stuck. The brain is wired for comfort. It wants to avoid pain, discomfort, uncertainty, and risk. So when you rely on your emotions to determine whether or not you should act, you're surrendering your life to a system that's literally designed to keep you exactly where you are. You won't feel like waking up early. You won't feel like hitting the gym. You won't feel like studying, writing, building, or grinding. And guess what? That's normal. The people you admire are the ones doing big things they don't feel like doing it either. They just do it anyway. They've learned the critical habit of separating what they feel from what they do. That's the discipline, that's the edge, that's the separator between the average and the unstoppable. You don't need to feel confident to speak. You don't need to feel brave to take action. You don't need to feel inspired to start. You just need to begin, because motion creates emotion, action creates momentum. The very thing you're waiting for, that motivation, that energy, that drive, it only shows up after you start, not before. Think about this. When you sit around waiting for motivation, you're handing over the keys to your life. You're saying, I'll only move forward when I feel like it. But what if that feeling never comes? What if it only shows up after 30 minutes of deep focus, or after your heart's pounding from a tough workout, or after you've pushed through 10 minutes of resistance? We have to reprogram how we think about effort. Discipline is not about being hard on yourself. It's about making choices that align with your vision, not your feelings. Your vision knows where you're going. Your feelings just know what's comfortable right now, and if you always choose comfort, you'll always get the same results: frustration, delay, regret. And let's be clear, this isn't about ignoring your emotions. Emotions are signals, not commands. They're data, not directions. Feeling tired? Maybe you need sleep, or maybe you need to move. Feeling scared? Maybe it's danger, or maybe it's growth. Feeling unmotivated? Maybe it's boredom, or maybe it's your brain trying to keep you from doing the thing that matters most. You can acknowledge your feelings without obeying them. Here's what high performers do differently. They act their way into new feelings instead of waiting to feel their way into action. They get up when the alarm rings, even when it's cold. They show up for the workout, even when they'd rather scroll. They make the call, write the email, launch the thing even when it's uncomfortable. Why? Because they've trained their brain to understand that feelings are not facts. They've learned that hesitation kills progress. Every time you hesitate, every time you pause and overthink and negotiate with yourself, you let fear creep in. You give your comfort zone the microphone, so how do you flip the script? You start small. You commit to the action, not the outcome. You say, I'm not going to feel like it, and I'm going to do it anyway. You build micro habits that don't rely on hype. You anchor your routines not in emotion, but in identity. You don't go to the gym because you feel like it. You go because you're the kind of person who trains no matter what. Every time you override your emotions with intentional action, you're reprogramming your brain. You're proving to yourself that you're in charge now. Not your fear, not your doubts, not your feelings, you. This is where real growth lies, in the moments when it would be easier to stop, but you keep going. In the moments when it feels pointless, but you keep showing up. In the moments when no one's watching and you act with integrity anyway. The next time you hear your mind say, I don't feel like it, respond with this: that doesn't matter, I'm doing it anyway. Because you don't need to feel ready, you need to move, and once you move, everything changes. Hope can be beautiful. It can be a spark that keeps you going. But if all you're doing is hoping that something will change, you're in trouble. Because hope without strategy is just delay dressed up in a nice outfit. If you're sitting around wishing someone would notice you, pick you, help you, or save you, you're wasting time that could be used building something that actually works. The people who get results aren't waiting on a savior. They're building systems. Systems are what separate successful people from wishful thinkers. A system is a process. It's a structure. It's a commitment to repeated action that leads to a specific result regardless of how you feel on a given day. Systems are what keep you moving when motivation disappears. Systems are what give you clarity when your emotions are foggy. A system doesn't need inspiration, it just needs execution. Let's be real, you don't need another motivational video. You don't need another talk, another quote, or another pep talk from a friend. What you need is a repeatable plan of action, a set of habits, a rhythm, a process that you follow even on the days you don't feel like it. Because you won't feel like it most days, that's the reality. But systems don't care about your mood. Systems care about consistency. Too many people live life reacting. They're bouncing from one crisis to the next, one emotion to the next, one distraction to the next. And then they wonder why their results are inconsistent, why they feel stuck, why they can't gain momentum. It's because they're living without a system and depending on willpower, inspiration, or sheer luck. But that's not how progress works. That's not how growth works. Growth demands structure. Look at any top performer in business, in health, in sports, in art, and you'll find systems behind their success. They don't wing it, they don't rely on being in the mood. They have built-in processes that automate progress, morning routines, time blocks, meal plans, workout schedules, study systems, follow-up frameworks. They build the environment that supports the outcome they want, and once the system is in place, showing up becomes easier. It becomes automatic. Here's the thing, your goals are not too big. Your systems are too small or non-existent. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your structure. So if you want more out of life, stop hoping someone will fix it for you. Stop dreaming that the perfect moment will show up. Start designing your environment so success becomes the byproduct of your process. That means setting clear rules for yourself. It means reducing friction between you and the actions that matter. If you want to work out in the morning, lay your clothes out the night before. If you want to eat clean, prep your meals on Sunday. If you want to build a business, create a calendar that reflects your priorities, not your distractions. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it works. And the best part, systems create freedom. When you have a system, you don't waste mental energy deciding every day what to do. You don't fight with yourself over small decisions. You follow your blueprint and you execute. And yes, it takes time to build, but every brick you lay is a vote for the future you want. Every decision you automate is a piece of friction removed. Every system you install is a source of power that future you will thank you for. This is about building a life that doesn't require constant motivation because it runs on momentum. If you don't have systems, your life will always feel chaotic. You'll always feel like you're behind. But once you create structure, you create peace, you create flow, you create consistency, and consistency is the true secret to success. So stop waiting for the right conditions, stop hoping for a magical breakthrough. Start with one system, one routine, one small, powerful process, and stick to it. Let that system build your discipline. Let it carry you through the messy days. Let it work for you while others are still wishing for change. Because no one is coming to save you, but you don't need saving. You need structure, you need systems, and once you build them, you'll never have to rely on hope again. Courage is not a lightning strike. It's not some dramatic, one-time event where you conquer all fear and ride off into the sunset. Real courage is built the same way muscles are, through repetition, through resistance, through doing the hard thing, especially when it's inconvenient. People are out here waiting for confidence before they move, but confidence doesn't come first. What comes first is action, in spite of fear, in spite of doubt, in spite of discomfort. Most people misunderstand courage. They think it's the absence of fear, but that's wrong. Courage is what coexists with fear. It's doing what needs to be done while your hands are shaking and your voice is trembling. It's saying yes when everything inside you wants to say no. It's walking into unknown territory without a roadmap and choosing to trust yourself anyway. Think about any skill you've ever developed. Driving, writing, speaking, leading. You weren't great the first time. You were unsure, you made mistakes, but you kept going, and because you did, it became easier. Why? Because repetition builds competence, and competence breeds confidence. That's the formula, but too many people flip it. They wait until they feel ready to try. They wait for clarity before they move, and as a result, they never move. Let's make this clear. Confidence is a byproduct of courage. It's earned through evidence. When you do difficult things, when you step up, when you speak up, when you take the leap, even if you fall, you create proof. You tell your brain, I do hard things. You build a pattern, and the more evidence you stack, the more powerful you become. Here's what's really stopping most people. They don't want to look stupid. They don't want to fail. They don't want to be seen trying and not succeeding. But that fear of embarrassment is costing you your future. The people who win in life are not the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who outgrow the fear of it. They stop playing to not lose and start playing to win. Courage means choosing growth over comfort. And growth, by definition, means stepping into places you've never been mentally, emotionally, physically. It means embracing the unknown instead of running from it, and that's not easy. Your brain will scream at you to turn back, to play it safe, to stick with what's familiar. But your greatness lives outside of familiar. Your future requires discomfort. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is doing something every day that scares you just a little. Not something reckless, but something uncomfortable. Make the call, start the video, ask the question, pitch the idea, say the truth. That's how you build courage, through repetition, through exposure, through reps. And listen, courage doesn't mean you don't fall. You will. You'll try and it won't work. You'll show up and still feel unsure. But that's how you get stronger. That's how you build resilience. Courage is not perfection, it's persistence. It's staying in the game when everything in you wants to quit. It's showing up on the days when you feel small and scared and unqualified and doing the work anyway. Stop believing the lie that brave people feel fearless. What they've done is learned how to act even when the fear is loud. They've trained themselves to recognize fear as a signal of opportunity, not danger. They don't run from it. They lean into it because they know that on the other side of fear is growth, expansion, possibility. So how do you build courage practically? You set small targets and follow through. You keep promises to yourself, especially when no one's watching. You speak when it's uncomfortable. You challenge yourself to stay calm under pressure. You take action faster than you take excuses. That's the gym where courage is built. There's no magic moment where fear disappears forever, but there is a shift that happens when you stop negotiating with it. When you stop waiting to feel brave and start choosing to act brave. Courage is a choice, and it's available to you every single day. You don't need a guarantee of success. You need the guts to try. You need to bet on yourself even when the odds aren't perfect. That's the difference between people who build something powerful and those who settle for less. They chose courage over comfort again and again and again. No one is coming to hand you bravery. You build it, you earn it, you become it. One bold move at a time. Discipline is not a punishment. It's the most powerful form of self-respect. It's choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. It's looking at your goals, your dreams, your future, and saying, you matter more than how I feel in this moment. That's what separates the people who talk about success from the people who actually achieve it. Because here's the truth, you can either choose discipline now or you will face drama later. Drama comes in many forms: stress, regret, health problems, financial struggles, broken relationships, wasted potential. And most of it can be traced back to a lack of discipline. When you avoid the gym for months, your body suffers. When you keep spending recklessly, your finances suffer. When you don't speak honestly, your relationships suffer. The discomfort you avoid today becomes the chaos you face tomorrow. Most people are waiting for discipline to feel good, but discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It's a decision. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's sitting down to write when you're not inspired. It's eating clean when your cravings are screaming. Discipline is quiet. It's unglamorous, but it's what builds momentum. It's what builds mastery. It's what builds freedom. We live in a world that celebrates instant gratification, fast food, quick likes, overnight success. But all of that is a lie. Nothing meaningful comes without effort. You can't shortcut mastery. You can't microwave character. Real achievement takes time, and that means building habits, sticking to routines, and doing the work, especially when no one's watching. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. You don't rise to your intentions, you fall to the level of your systems. That means if your environment is messy, your schedule is reactive, and your habits are inconsistent, your outcomes will reflect that. But when you choose structure, when you build consistency, when you create order, your life begins to align with your vision. And here's what most people don't understand: discipline gives you freedom. When you build discipline with your money, you gain financial freedom. When you build discipline with your time, you create space to rest and grow. When you build discipline with your health, you increase energy, clarity, and confidence. Discipline doesn't trap you, it liberates you. Let's talk about those moments when you want to quit, when the excuses start creeping in. It's not that important. I'll do it tomorrow. One time won't hurt. Those are the defining moments. That's when the real work begins, because discipline is not about doing the right thing once, it's about doing it consistently, especially when it's hard, especially when it's boring, especially when no one's clapping for you. That's why discipline is a form of love. It's how you show up for your future self. Every time you say no to distraction, no to comfort, no to the easy way out, you're saying yes to the version of you that you're becoming. You're choosing purpose over pleasure, vision over impulse. And yes, it's hard. It requires sacrifice. You might have to miss the party, turn off the Netflix, wake up before the sun. But those moments, that's where champions are made. That's where confidence is built. That's where average ends and greatness begins. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get it right every time, but you do need to be consistent. You need to hold yourself accountable. You need to remind yourself that everything you want requires work, and you are capable of that work. Not later, not someday, right now. Discipline is also contagious. When you start showing up, when you start pushing through resistance, the people around you feel it. You raise the standard for yourself, for your circle, for your life. You stop tolerating excuses because you know what's possible when effort becomes your habit. Stop saying, "I'll start when I feel motivated." Start now with what you have where you are. Build the routine, set the standard, keep the promise, not because it's easy, but because you've decided that your future is worth it. The world doesn't need more people with dreams. It needs more people with discipline, people who don't just wish they work, people who don't just hope they build, people who don't let emotions steer the wheel, they let vision drive and discipline fuel the journey. No one is coming to hold you accountable. No one is going to do the work for you. But the moment you choose discipline, you take back your power. And once you do, nothing can stop you. You've heard it again and again. No one is coming to save you. And while that may sound harsh, it's the most liberating truth you will ever embrace. Because the moment you stop waiting, you start rising. The moment you stop hoping for rescue, you start building your own escape route. That's where everything changes. It starts with radical responsibility, owning your life, your decisions, your outcomes. You don't control everything that happens to you, but you control how you respond. That ownership is your power. Stop outsourcing it. Then comes the shift from feelings to action. Your feelings are not in charge, your actions are. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel strong. But when you move anyway, when you take action in spite of fear or doubt, you build momentum that feelings could never give you. From there, you replace hope with systems. Stop dreaming that something or someone will save you. Hope won't change your life, habits will. Build the routines, build the structure, automate progress. That's how you win consistently, even on the hard days. And when fear shows up, as it always will, remember that courage is a muscle. You don't need to feel brave to act brave. Every time you step into discomfort, you're training your identity to match your vision. Every uncomfortable step forward is a vote for the person you're becoming. Finally, you anchor it all with discipline, the daily choices, the small sacrifices, the routines no one sees. Discipline isn't punishment, it's self-respect. It's the proof that your future matters more than your impulses. And when you choose discipline, you choose transformation. So here it is. This speech isn't about being inspired. It's about being activated. It's about waking up to the truth that you've got what it takes, not because someone told you, not because someone will save you, but because you've decided, I am the one, you are the hero, you are the answer. You are the rescue plan. No one is coming, and that's the best news ever, because now you don't have to wait. Now you begin.